Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Double Stuff Podcast, where we're double the hosts, double the topics, and double the fun. I'm Charity.
I'm Alan.
And I'm Sarah.
And today we're going to talk about something that I discuss just about every day. Is pet peeves. And Sarah knows this because we live in the same house.
Yeah.
This is going to be a fun episode.
Do I have any pet peeves?
I don't know. Do you?
No, what I'm saying is, do you have pet peeves of me?
It's a half hour show. We'll let you know by the end of this.
We might need to do a part 2.
Oh, okay.
Part 2 is all about Alan. You know what bugs me about that guy?
I don't trust them sideburns. No, but Sarah and I were actually talking about this earlier before we started recording, is that asking someone what their most annoying, pet peeve is like asking their favorite movie.
Oh.
So when someone asks me someone asks me their favorite movie, I'm like, no, that's too generic. You have to have like a favorite actor or a favorite genre, a favorite time period, and then we can sort of narrow it down. But if you were to ask me my favorite movie right now, I can guarantee it'd be different tomorrow. And that's probably the same way with pet peeves. And so everyone knows I like to do a little research with my topics. So Huffington posted an article in 2015.
Okay.
And we were looking at pet peeves. They were actually mostly categorized by dorm rooms, airplane etiquette, or office behavior. Those were like the top 3 pet peeves that people have in those categories.
Public places.
I would say public places should be a big one.
Yeah. Well, those are public places.
Well, yeah. I mean, like airplane and office for sure. So, I mean, of those 3 categories, do you have a pet peeve that just right off the top of your head you can think of? Of dorm rooms, airplane etiquette, or office behavior?
Yeah. I do.
What would yours be?
And it's allowed, so I don't know, but like on an airplane, somebody that immediately goes into the recline position, like immediately for me is, it's such a bold move. Like as soon as you get into the plane or something, and
then you have that armrest battle with the person next to you.
I don't mind that. I don't mind touching people, but just having a chair like jammed into my face, I don't like. And again, you're allowed to recline, so it's one of those things where I'm just the whole time just like.
But it's also an etiquette thing, So there's sort of unspoken rules about what. I mean, not that there's a rule like you can't recline your chair. If that was the case, you couldn't recline your chair. But it's like you should know out of courtesy to the next person, you don't do that. It's like when you go to the gym, don't run on the treadmill next to you, which now you can't because of COVID.
Right.
But, if there's extra treadmills, you always skip one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just what you should do.
Same thing in a men's room?
Yeah, I was wondering if I should bring that up.
You have to skip the treadmill in the men's room?
Yeah.
How big is that bathroom?
It's pretty big. Not usually, but yes. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay, what about you, Sarah? Do you have a pet peeve out of those categories? Those are the top 3.
I guess what office stuff is how people store their lunches in the fridge.
Yeah, that can be
or
pretty
leave
obnoxious.
them there.
Or leave them there.
Yeah, forget
and they're
about
there
them.
for like months.
They start growing.
Yeah.
They start growing tentacles inside the.
Well, and a lot of people too. Fridge etiquette. If you're going to be sharing it with your office, you should contain your lunch with everything that you need in it and consume it that day. But I know people that like bring condiments and then they'll use it for like one meal and then it'll just stay in the fridge for however long it'll be.
Yeah, it's like that mustard used to be yellow. Who knows what color it is?
Yeah.
Well, see, what I do, and this might be considered stealing, but if I'm like at Quick Trip or something, I'll grab a couple mayonnaise packets on the way out and I'll use them for like.
You didn't buy anything?
Yeah. Well, no, I'll get like a soda or a bag of chips or something, but like I didn't get a hot
mayo
dog
on my chips.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say to me, Quick Trip guy?
But I do that at Dylan's too. Like you go in the deli and then if you are grocery shopping or something, I'll grab a couple mayonnaise or mustard packets because I've got lunch and I like you just said, I don't want a whole freaking bottle of mayonnaise.
Yeah.
I just want a little bit for my sandwich.
Yeah.
That's right. I don't think that's wrong.
I think another office etiquette thing, and maybe it depends on how
frowned
big.
Upon, definitely.
What?
Oh, I was just saying
frowned upon.
Oh, frowned upon. Yeah. No, I was saying I guess it depends on the layout of the office or how spread out you are. But when you're in cubicles and stuff, I mean, it's kind of hard to it's not like you're in a closed office, so you do have to be considerate of other people and stuff, but people tend to talk on the phone extra loud sometimes.
Yeah.
Or they have the phone on speaker, which people do that anyway with their smartphones, which doesn't make sense. But some people in their cubicles, when they're talking to somebody, they'll have it on speaker, and everyone is hearing whatever it is, and it's not like I don't have work to do and have to do phone calls. So it's really selfish.
Well, I've seen that in the grocery stores too. Someone will have their phone on speaker, and because you can hear the conversation, you'll just kind of turn and look just to see like who's that talking.
Yeah.
And then they'll get mad, like, stop listening in. I'm like, if you don't want people to listen, why do you have it on speaker?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and having phones.
That's a pretty bold move.
Having phones on speaker in the bathroom.
What? That happens?
Yeah.
Oh.
I can't. I've never been in the guys' room, but it happens a lot in the women's bathroom.
Well, and that's the same too if you're listening to music on your headphones, but you have the headphones around your neck and you got the volume all the way up because I guess it gives you that surround sound feel.
Okay.
But that defeats the purpose of having headphones. If you're going to have headphones and put them on your ears, but don't hang them around your neck like a necklace where you have your own personal speakers by your chin. People do that all the time too.
They do?
Especially at the gym. Alan, do you get out the house?
I guess not.
I have no pet peeves. I love everything and anything about anybody.
I mean that would be a pet peeve of mine too.
Yeah.
But like, where you been? Don't you know how to wear headphones? Yeah.
They like that. I guess it's like a surround sound thing. But there was a list of pet peeves that I came across, and we probably won't go over all of them today, but there was a few that may or may not be considered pet peeves. It's just a few people don't like it. And then you guys can let me know. One of them was when people use a Ziploc bag but don't squeeze out the air before they seal it. That was a really popular one.
Yeah,
so if you just dump your chips in a bag and then it's like a big puff of air, a lot of people don't. That's a no for them.
I can see that.
I can see that. I don't know about getting upset about it. Okay.
You're like, she did it again. All right, it's time for that. Sign those divorce papers.
That's right. I can't believe it.
Now, the other one, I'm sure we've all experienced this, is that when you're driving and you let someone in front of you and they don't give you the thank you wave, like people get furious with that. And I do get mad when that doesn't happen. I'm like, we're on Kellogg and I let you merge. Like, give me a thank you wave, So that is a big one.
Or when you open the door for somebody and they just walk in as if, yes, I expected you to do that.
That's when you stick out your foot and trip them.
I haven't quite gotten there. I sometimes I wish I could, but yeah, they just walk in like, thank you, doorman.
Hold that door for me.
Wow.
That elevator, anything that deals with like helping someone do something, open a door for them, or if they drop something, pick it up. And they just go on their way like.
Yeah, littering's a big pet peeve.
Yeah, but like it could be something like they can be doing something and they.
Yeah, I was at like a national park and saw some litter. I'm like, why are you gonna?
That's because people are garbage.
Unlike the litter that's on the ground.
Yeah. One of my biggest pet peeves, and I've had this forever, is the sound of frozen things being chewed.
Like
crunching on ice is a big one. People just like biting into a popsicle like an animal. That's another big one for me. I can't take it. It sends shivers.
Does it hurt your teeth to watch someone do that?
It's appropriate that it sends shivers seeing how it's frozen.
I don't like it. Keep it away.
I think dealing with food is people that chew with their mouth open or just smack. And then they talk. And you can see all the food in their mouth while they're smacking.
Sorry, Sarah.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything, Alan, but you're really getting on my nerves.
So this is one of my pet peeves, which made the list, and I'll probably make a few people mad. But I can't handle passive aggressive people, like people that drop hints or they want you to figure out that you're mad at them, or just.
I love that. I love passive aggressive.
No, if you're mad, just say it. If you have something to say, then say it.
I'll dig in deeper.
No.
Yeah, I love passive aggressive people.
No, but then
they don't have the
wherewithal
to tell you what's on their mind. So you realize it, and then you're like, I'm going to do this every day.
So it's like, well, two people can play at that game.
Well, no, that makes the problem worse because the problem is accelerating and they're getting angry and angry. And at some point, they're going to explode. And they're like, you've been doing this since we moved in together and you've been living together for 6 years. It's like, dude, I didn't know. Like if you're upset, say something.
Oh, you're talking about like somebody you care about. Like
I don't care. No, just.
Oh, okay.
I'm very blunt and I'm that way for a reason because. you know what you get with me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Get the information out.
Yeah, but I've worked with people who are passive aggressive, where I've lived with people who are passive, and I'm talking about roommates and such. But
is someone hinting around about something?
All of our family's actually pretty blunt sometimes, which is probably where I get it from. But like, I've had roommates, and I used to live on a bus and all that with a tour that I was on. And so when you're around people all the time, you have to just be blunt and get to know each other and just say, hey, this is annoying, this is pissing me off, we need to deal with it. But otherwise, if you're going to wait 6 months down the line and then bring up a situation that I've forgotten about and you're still mad about it, that's not my fault, that's your fault. You didn't say something, too bad.
This is why Charity can't be a marriage counselor.
I toyed around with being a ceramics instructor at my first college, and there was a girl that I worked with, and she was a part of the program too, and she was like that, but she was very shy, and I could tell that there was something about like what you're talking about, being passive aggressive, and I just kept doing it, and she was getting really mad at me.
You're like playing a game with her.
I did, and so I was like, I'm going to ask her out. That'll really put her off the top.
Oh, no.
And I was like, so, you want to go get some ice cream after this? And she said yes. And we did. And I was like, this isn't working at all.
This isn't how it turned out.
This isn't how you met Mac, is it?
No, this was another college.
That would have been funny. And then we've been married for...
Yeah, we're married. We got kids. It was all because of that ice cream.
And it's like, you know what? I can't stand ceramics.
And the ice cream place had a weird thing too. They had an SRO, and I never thought about it. Was just like their big gulp or whatever, like the biggest thing that they'd serve ice cream in. It's called an SRO. And then years later, somebody told me that stood for standing room only or something like that.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, but I don't know how it applied to ice cream, but that's how this shop works.
All those standing ice creams.
That's a pet peeve of mine. You should be very clear.
You should be
what an acronym should stand for.
You should be clear about my passive aggressive tendencies. See, one of my big ones is people leaving the shopping carts in the parking area. So
but not in the cart corral.
No, they just this one lady, she went out of her way to not put the cart away.
Yeah.
I'm
with you on that.
And she literally pushed the. She's in the parking lot. She pushes the cart like she's playing a shuffleboard in the parking lot, and just sees where it lands, and then she just walks away.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's bold.
I had one person. I'm backing out of my parking space. Someone leaves their cart behind my car and walks away. And I'm like,
what?
And I didn't hit it, thankfully, because that would have pissed me off. But I'm like, I'm literally like halfway out. You're going to leave my cart.
That's somebody that's like looking for a fight.
Yeah. Maybe it was like a YouTube prank and they were, recording it or something. I hate pranks. Does that count as a pet peeve?
Sure.
I do not do pranks.
I don't like pranks
think
either.
They're stupid and completely out of line.
All the effort you're putting into doing this, why don't you be more...
Why don't you be a human being and
my
not
youngest tries to prank me and my wife all the time. She tries to be a ninja. You can see her moving around, and her big thing is to jump out and yell poo, and then you have to pretend you're scared.
Wait, you said your wife does this or your girls?
No, my youngest tries to scare me and my wife all the time, but you can totally see her moving around. Or like when she's ducking behind a counter, she can't see you, but you can see the top of her head.
Well, nice to know that this podcast will not prove the fact that you still can't see her.
Yeah.
Don't listen to this segment. Cover your ears.
She's working on her stealth. Keep working on it, baby.
Another pet peeve that you guys may or may not agree with. One of them was clapping at the end of a movie while you're in the theater. And there was a good amount of people that did not approve of that.
Maybe it depends on
opening weekend.
There was no specifications of whether or not it was opening weekend or it was an old movie, but clapping in the movie at the end.
If it's like random scatter clapping, you have people that are unenthused but feel like they're obligated to, that's a bit. But if you're going and you know that you're in front of a really enthusiastic crowd, like everybody's looking forward to this.
Like you're waiting for like the latest Star Wars movie
and you can tell they're really engaged, and they're gonna laugh at all the jokes, and they're gonna boo at the villain, they're gonna cheer at the hero. You know that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So for me, that doesn't bother me.
Well, people clap at film festival movies too. Like when we went to do your documentary, it was more of like a courtesy thing. After each movie played, they clapped for it. Mm-hmm. But I was also thinking of the Turner Classic movie cruise that we went on.
Oh, yeah.
And so after, usually before the movie, they do a Q&A with whatever movie star when talking about their classic movie. Mm-hmm. And then they would play the movie after that. So we do the interview, and then the movie would play. Once their name appeared on the screen as who was starring, the audience would clap. And then
like the director.
And then when they would first come on the scene, they would clap again. Yeah. And so it was like a excitement / courtesy thing / like respect for, hey, we just saw Ernest Borgnine on the stage talking about Marty, and now we're seeing his name on the screen, and now here he is in the movie. It was like a so
and in my
and you clap at the end too.
Yeah, you gotta clap at the end.
So it was an appropriate environment.
Sort of like
So maybe that's what it is. It depends on the environment. If you're just randomly there and there's like 6 people in the whole theater.
I love Winnie the Pooh.
Go Tigger. That's right. You just hear the scatter clap. Yeah, that's a bit ridiculous. But like if you're going to a fully packed house and like with the TCM cruise, they are way into this, then yes, you're going to expect clapping. Mm-hmm. And if you watch a lot of older movies, the way they shot it, you can tell that had to have been the norm, or at least pretty common back in the day, to clap at certain parts, or
because
you knew they were going to
space for that.
Yeah, or to laugh at certain bits, especially with musicals. So if you look at a lot of musicals and they end, it's almost like you just saw a theatrical play or something on the stage, and so there is a little bit of like a 1 or 2 second pause, and gives time for the audience to clap at their performance. So I think that's probably just been going on since the history of live entertainment, or even movies.
Oh yeah.
So whoever suggested that, if you're in a room of 6 people in the whole theater, don't. But if there's like 300 people there, suck it up and take the clap.
In a theater, you don't know what you're getting nowadays. I mean, people that are talking on their phone, people bringing
just
in
altogether movie etiquette.
Their picnic. Maybe I should just say altogether movie. If you really want to enjoy a movie, just do it at home. Just do it at home. There's absolutely no reason to go to a theater anymore.
Or go during a time where no one else is going to be there.
There you go.
Either go like
matinee.
I've watched a movie theater or been in a movie theater completely alone, and it was the best experience I've ever had.
Here's a pet peeve of mine. Matinees are the first show now. They're not afternoon shows anymore. So if you want to pay matinee prices, it's the 10 a.m. show.
That makes sense. I think everybody's probably gotten wise to
Yeah.
They've ruined it all. You're the reason why we can't have nice things.
One more, still kind of on the movie thing, but slightly changing the topic a little bit.
Okay.
And I won't dwell on this for too long, because I can make this an episode in itself.
No, take it easy.
But it's church. It's the way people. It's the
Sunday, no less.
It's the theatrical.
It's the preacher. It's the music. See, I hate it all.
I'm not even
at you, church.
And I'm not even going to that. That's a whole other thing. I'm talking about the congregation.
Oh,
because they have.
People are going to hear this, Sarah.
Well,
I'm assuming you don't go to too many churches.
Well,
we've been to plenty. We're pastors' kids.
We're pastors' kids. We've been out and about. How do you think we know this? No, it's just the fact that kind of the stuff that you're talking about with the theater audiences, the same thing applies to a congregation at church. It wasn't until I moved to Kansas that I realized that people are so casual as a congregation. Now, I'm not saying we need to come in with our hands full to sing and bringing in the sheaves. I'm not saying that. But I don't like it when the pastor is preaching and all of a sudden you hear a and it's somebody opening a can of pop while the guy is preaching.
Bold.
That's why there's stains on the carpet in some churches.
Yeah, and they're late to church. Why? Because the line at Starbucks was too long. You're putting your priorities in the wrong thing.
Well, I think that's also dependent on, like, there's certain denominations that are more formal and more maybe traditional that won't allow such things.
It's not even that. It's not just that.
There's much to be said on this topic. Why did you pick at the end to talk about this?
I'm just talking about just have a bit of respect. You don't like it when you're watching a movie and somebody starts slurping and popping the can. So why would you do that there? It's disrespectful to the the pastor is disrespectful to people that are trying to listen, I'll keep it there. Like I said, I can make a whole episode out of that.
Okay, one last pet peeve to not end on a sad note or a depressing note. Thanks, Sarah.
Controversial.
was texting versus phone calls, and I think that's just something that's developed over the past few years. Is that if someone calls you, it's because it's something important. It could be for work or someone's died or whatever. But for the most part, you send a text or Facebook chat or whatever you use. Is that sort of how you guys feel as well?
That's a good question. I'm kind of on the cusp of that too.
Or if someone calls you, you wait till the phone ends and then you text it, hey, I just got your call. Is there anything you need? You send them a text. Yeah. You purposefully don't answer the phone.
You said that very coyly.
Not that I've done that.
I typically don't answer the phone anyway because more than likely, I don't usually get phone calls from a lot of people. And if they do call, it's more than likely those telemarketers asking if I wanted to have my car warranty extended.
That's a pet peeve of mine too. And because my area code is still California, anytime I have a California that's not in my contact, I'm like, I'm not picking. Sometimes I will pick up. Oh, I got a good after hours when I picked up and answered the phone. On a random cold call.
Okay. Well, we'll pause right here and end this episode, but we will have an after hours moment that we can post on our social media page. Yes. And so, speaking of social media, if you want to follow us on social media, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Double Stuff Podcast, and then you can find us on Twitter at Double Stuff P, which is the letter P. And anytime you want to listen to old episodes, you can find all of our episodes on our YouTube page under Double Stuff Podcast, and then go to doublestuffpod.com and you can find all of our episodes there. I did it! I'm so excited!